Hello, everyone. How you doing? Nice to see actually so many people joining me today. Obviously, there was a last minute change of plan, and I'm really sorry, everyone, if uh, if that kind of messed anything up for you. It's a story I'll tell you in a minute. Let's just see what everyone is saying here. I notice we've got people from all over the world again. Silvia, buenas tardes desde España. Hola, Silvia. Hope you're doing well. Eva Lee, so excited. I am too, Eva. I enjoy this a lot as well. Um, who else we got here? Tony, greetings from Finland. Hello, Tony. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd love to know what kind of weather you've got there right now. What's spring in Finland like? That would be lovely to know. Um, we've got Eric Todd Lewis. Los Angeles says, hi, looking forward to this one. Great tune. Thanks, Eric. Thanks very much. Um, Pete, Clark on a Sunday. This could throw my week right out. Hope you had a good time last night. Thank you very much, Pete. Um, OL Railsback, greetings from St. Petersburg. How interesting. I'd like to visit St. Petersburg. I've been thinking about that. Cool. Thank you for joining us. Um, Mikko Pelinen. Hi, Clark. Greetings from Finland. Another one. Hello. Hi. I need to learn what hello is in Finnish. Um, Davina, nice vest. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, and to all the places in the world where you're celebrating Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to your mothers. It's not Mother's Day in Britain, but I understand it is elsewhere, including the US. So have a lovely day, all of you. Um, Petri, it's been a bit chilly, but the next week looks warm and sunny here in Finland. Okay, thank you, Petri. Yeah, I'm sure it's beautiful there. Absolutely sure. Um, who else have we got here? Chiho. Yay. Hi, Clark. I've been waiting and I'm so excited now. Great. Thank you for joining me, Chiho. Um, who else do we have here? I will go to, oops, Pebs. Hi, Clark. Looking forward to today's episode. Great. Ana Santiago de Hinojosa. I hope I got that right. Hi, Clark. Kisses from Brazil. Hello to Brazil. Thank you very much, Anna, for joining us. Maria Soledad Miranda, gracias. You're welcome. Marek, very happy to see you back. Clark, thank you very much, Marek. Thanks for joining me again. Russ Wilson, hello, Clark from Russia, and Juanita in Devizes, Wiltshire. Yeah, I know Devizes well. Seen all the other Journey songs on catch up. First time catching one live. Loving these live streams. Great stories and songs. Thanks very much, Russ. That's wonderful to hear. I mean, the irony of this live stream is this is the first one that I'm not actually going to be singing live in. I will all the others, I assure you, or most of them anyway. This is a slightly unusual one. Pranav, this song was begging for an official single release and a music video. Cannot wait to hear the backstory for this song. Greetings from New York City. Your live stream is the only thing that makes this spring morning better. Thank you, Pranav. Well, I hope at the end of it you'll see, you'll feel the same way. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't. Sorry, I was going to say I don't want to be a hero. I did a very very long gig last night, so I'm a little bit confused. Um, and I got in very late. It was quite a long haul. As again, I'll explain in a minute. Don't let it end this way as a single. You know what? At the time, there was a sense that it had something about it, something that the others didn't. And I can't really explain what that is. In a way, if you know the Magnetized album, it's kind of the place that Goodbye Sweet Yesterday had. It's this kind of magical little piece of music that just could have had some kind of potential. Interesting. Okay, everyone. I'd love to keep saying hello. I'm trying to make a point of greeting people like Keon. Hi from Canada. Hello, Keon. I don't think we've said hello before, so thank you for joining. Just saying hi to people I've not said hi to before, but thank you, all of you. Paul, hi from sunny Aberdeen in Scotland. Thanks very much, Paul. Okay, so it's time for a cup of tea. I've got some lovely chalky, I think it's called Leibniz biscuits back there. I'm looking forward to those. Cup of tea. I need it today. Yeah. So as I think some of you know, this Journey Songs was supposed to happen yesterday, and I was going to broadcast live from a venue in London where me, Mike, and our good mate Marcus Bonfanti were going to be recording an entire acoustic gig. And just before we were going to film the gig, my idea was to go live, bring all my equipment to the venue and go live and broadcast from there, which sounds great, doesn't it? And the more I looked into it, and the fact that also we are still in lockdown, of course. Well, it's semi-lockdown now. We're coming out of lockdown, but the pandemic has made things a lot more difficult to achieve because staff are not at these venues in the same way they were before. So the technicalities of live streaming from somewhere like that are really reduced. And when I realised that, I thought I don't want to go through with this. And having done the gig last night, I'm really glad that was my decision, because it would have been an absolute disaster. So what I ended up doing was, I know I was a little bit vague about what I was going to be doing today, but I decided to ask the film crew at this venue. We had a film crew and sound crew. It was a big setup to do this acoustic gig. I asked them if they would film one take of the three of us doing Don't Let It End This Way when we were warming up, when we were doing a sound check. So that's what I'm going to play for you in a short while. And basically, this gig is going to be available as a ticketed concert. That is, you have to buy a ticket to see it, but it's only available for 72 hours. I think I said this last time. Anyway, it's going to be available in a few weeks. I'll let you know more when. But it was a big setup and a really beautiful situation, beautiful lighting and sound and everything. So I'll keep you posted on that. So you're going to see us in sound check just with one camera doing this. We had actually a lot more cameras, and there'll be a lot more angles and close-ups, etc. But it's pretty cool, and that's where you're going to see Mike and Marcus. So they're not actually here with me today. It's just little old me again. Okay, so I've just noticed something. I should close that. That's not very safe. That's better. So where shall we begin? Let's go straight into the story of Don't Let It End This Way, although I know there's a lot more people writing here, and I really want to say hello to all of you. But we'll get there. Okay. So, Don't Let It End This Way. I've got to just say one thing before I go any further. Yesterday's gig, I really need to tell you this, was absolutely freezing. The venue was really like a refrigerator. It was warmer outside, and again, because these places aren't open yet, there was no heating, nothing like that. So we were kind of finding it hard to play it. That towards the end of the gig, it was really hard, for all three of us, to play the instruments. So bear that in mind. But lovely people. There is such a great crew. Okay, so onwards. Don't Let It End This Way was the last song to be written and recorded for the Turn Back the Clock album, way back when, in '87. And the reason it was the last song, well, one song had to be the last song, but we actually had a 9-track album, and we were getting towards the time when we knew the album had to come out. We'd already had Shattered Dreams, I Don't Want to Be a Hero, Turn Back the Clock out, and the album was due to be released in pretty much the rest of the world except the US, where it came out later, in January 1988. It was a late night last night, people. It was a long day and a late night from this gig, so excuse me if I'm a little bit slow. So we'd spent so much time, focused energy on the other tracks. We needed this extra song, and I said, I'll come up with something. And I had an idea in mind, a musical idea, and finished the song fairly quickly, and took it to the guys, and we recorded it fairly quickly. And interestingly, on this album, on the Turn Back the Clock album, this is the only song where I play guitar, because I used to be a guitarist. That was my first instrument. Actually, originally, when I was a school kid, I had piano lessons and I was useless. I found it very hard to read music and play piano. But then I learned to read music when my music teacher suggested I learn to play flute, which is just one line of music. For anyone who is into music, piano's 2 lines and multiple notes, flute is 1. And that's how I learned to read music. And I got pretty good on flute. And then at the same time, because flute is really more of a classical instrument, mostly, I started playing guitar. And then kind of eventually returned to teaching myself piano and keyboards, and that became my main instrument. But I still play a little bit of guitar. Back then I certainly played a bit more. So there you go. That's the long-winded story of me playing guitar on Don't Let It End This Way. And since then, as you can see behind me, I learned to play bouzouki, a kind of guitar-sized mandolin, which I played a lot on the album Tomorrow. And I still write on sometimes, an amazing instrument. Anyway, so it was a real rush in a way to record Don't Let It End This Way, but it's one of those tracks that it required space. You didn't want to fill it up with too big a production like, Heart of Gold or Don't Say It's Love. It's quite an organic track, and the way it evolved was very organic. And I think we loved it for that. It did something different, and it didn't sound like it was an add-on track at all. I think as Pranav was saying earlier, it had this sense that actually this could be a lot more. But we had, as you know, on Turn Back the Clock, we had pretty much an album full of singles. So not all of them could be singles. I'm just going to quickly. I've just seen a little message here. Joyce Wheatley, this was the first album of yours that I bought, and I played it to death. I just moved house, and it takes me back to a lovely time. Thank you. You're welcome, Joyce. Now that's interesting, it being linked to a house move, because that's a profound moment in time. Hi Nadine, how are you? Hope you're keeping well. I just quickly say hello to David. Any grades on flute, piano, Clark? David, I see that. I see your thumbnail image there. You would ask a question like that with the bass clef on there. Yeah, I was I think I was grade 8 in flute. And piano, I didn't. When I returned to piano, I just taught myself. And that was much more natural for me. But I do read music through flute. And my dad, being a jazz musician, was, very, very into me learning to read music, and quite rightly so, even though I found it hard. The vibe of Don't Let It End This Way, a lot of you will know this, and I'm just assuming that maybe not everyone does. The kind of track it is what we used to call lovers rock, which is kind of a very soft reggae influenced style. And actually someone mentioned this earlier, I think in a comment, I can't remember, it wasn't when we went live, it was before, saying that it reminded them of the vibe of Englishman in New York, the Sting track, which is interesting. You should mention Sting, because there is a connection there for this track. And that's true. It's whoa, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien, I'm an Englishman in New York. I didn't play the right chord there. I hadn't really practiced that. But there are a lot of tracks like that. Let's see if I can do another one off the cuff. Now that we found love, what are we gonna do with it? I love that record. Now that we found love, I just want an excuse to play it. But in other words, if you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's how it works. It's this emphasis on the offbeat, to be straightforward about it. And that was a very, very common use of rhythm at that time. And interestingly, I'm going to get to Sting in a minute. Not that it's such a strong connection for this particular song, but it's really the subject matter that is important. So a lot of people have been saying, what they think the song was about, and actually someone very early on, let me see if I can go back to this. It was the very first person who commented today. It was Paul Taylor. I always thought this song was about nuclear war, and winter has come to stay, referred to a nuclear winter. I'd be fascinated to find out whether I was right. Sorry, everyone. I did put that up earlier, but that's what Paul said. And that is indeed, Paul and everyone else, what it's about. So again, I appreciate the fact that not everyone will have heard that in the song, because you think about it, don't let it end this way. Before you can go, there's something that I must say. There's equally a possibility that it's about some kind of relationship. But hopefully that's clarified what the song's about. Actually, Tristan here. I think, Tristan, you might be from Chile. Forgive me if I got that wrong. You should do a cover of Englishman in New York. That was cool how you performed that brief bit. Thank you very much. Well, I don't know what to say. Yeah, it's a great track. So, again, this subject of the threat and the accompanying fear of nuclear war was ever present in the 80s. And for all of us who were younger in that era, I'm saying that because I think there are some people here who won't remember that time directly. It was an incredibly overarching paranoia that gripped the world, that the West and the USSR, the Soviet Union, the Soviet Communist Empire, would launch nuclear missiles at each other, and it was a very, very real prospect. And interestingly, that prospect is just as possible today. There are more countries now that have nuclear weapons than there were back then, and for some reason this whole subject of nuclear disarmament has practically disappeared from public debate. We're so focused on other issues, and that one, which is probably the next biggest thing next to what we're doing to the planet, environmental destruction, because this would be another form of destruction that we'd cause ourselves, like we are with the environmental destruction I've talked about in the past. You would have thought that would be still upmost in our minds, but nope, it's gone. Other things more important. Okay, I think we should rethink that. So other musicians of the time dealt with that subject, and I could mention quite a few. But when Sting did Russians, I think it became the archetypal example of a song that very overtly, Russians very overtly, dealt with this this issue. And Sting handled it very interestingly. The whole idea is, I hope the Russians love their children too, which is really what a lot of people were saying back then. Surely they wouldn't do that because they love their children too. Just as the Russians or the Soviet Union was saying that about the West. Surely the USA and the UK and France, etc., would not launch nuclear weapons because they love their children too. Catch-22 situation. But that was the whole idea of what was called mutually assured destruction, MAD. That because both sides were sure to wipe out the other side in a conflict, which meant they themselves would be wiped out through retaliation. No one would dare, you know, press the button and launch nuclear missiles. Um, so, yeah, what a crazy situation that was, and as I say, it continues to be. So, there were other people. I mean, Mike and Mechanics' Silent Running is a very strong example of that. The video, if you remember, is very clearly about that. Um, I don't know if any of you remember a Tom Robinson track called War Baby, which is he did some other great songs, 2468 Motorway, Glad to Be Gay. Um, but War Baby touched on a fear of nuclear war. Again, yeah, I could go on and on. So it was very much, it wasn't that I was listening to those songs and saying, I want to do that. It was just that as a writer, it's one of the big subjects that you wanted to address. So after that, I think the thing to focus on is that's what other people did. How was I affected to do this, apart from the fact that we were all affected back then? Cup of tea time. In 1983, there was a television film, a film made for television, which was kind of unusual back then still, called The Day After. Not The Day After Tomorrow, it was called The Day After. And as you can see from the image, this is no laughing matter. The Day After was a film that looked at in a fictional recounting a nuclear war when Russia and the US launched missiles against each other. I don't know if any of you remember this particular film, but The Day After was shown in schools across the West, not just in the US, and shown on television throughout the world. It was watched by millions and millions of people. And what was very unusual about it is that if you care to see it, it's very much of its time, okay? It's, you got to allow the fact that it was made then. But it is absolutely confronting. There's no happy ending. It's really quite remarkable. It was designed to shock people awake as to what we were really doing with, what we were playing with on the planet, with these grossly destructive weapons of mass destruction. And I saw it on television. I don't think I saw it at school, but it was shown at school, and it left people traumatized. I was traumatized through watching it, which is a powerful thing to say about a piece of art on television. It shocked many people in the West awake, and I think it actually emboldened the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, CND, and other organizations of a similar nature at the time. Interestingly, I was researching The Day After because I haven't seen it for many years. And it was directed by Nicholas Meyer, who, interestingly, I'm a Star Trek fan, okay? The original series, the original cast, okay? Let's get that clear. And he directed a couple of the original cast Star Trek films, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, and I think he did The Undiscovered Country, Star Trek VI. As well as Tomorrow Never Dies, any Bond fans out there. So, these are, lovely films, but it's very much entertainment. The Day After is not at all like that. So that really had a profound effect on me, and is really one of the reasons I felt impelled to include a song about the dangers of nuclear war on the Turn Back the Clock album. So I hope the lyrics probably make a little more sense now. Exactly as someone said earlier about I was referencing a nuclear winter. I'm wiping the tears from my face, though I can't control myself. God have mercy on us all. a chapter is ending a story that only just begun. First the rise of civilization and then the fall. And that idea of that moment when two people are embracing as this terrible act is about to happen or is happening is very much depicted in The Day After. So that's why that particular film plays such a part in the backstory to Don't Let It End This Way. Okay, we'll go to the performance in a second. Let's just quickly... Eric, who made this comment... oh no, sorry, Eric, you didn't. That was it. That was someone else. Eric, they made us watch The Day After in school. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade. I never had a good night's sleep for months after that. I can well believe it, Eric, and you were one of millions of kids who endured that. Unfortunately, it was probably a good thing that we were all made to watch it, because there was no fantasy, no gameplay, no computer game referencing nuclear war. It was suddenly brought right into our faces with that. KP, the BBC's Survivors is also good. I don't know that. That's interesting. I'll check that out. I will check that out. We could completely go off on a tangent here onto TV shows, because I have been talking with some people online about Line of Duty, which is a UK program, but we could go on and on. People, I'm going to show you this clip now. So like I said, in the venue we're going to have 4 cameras. So if you do choose to see this when it's actually broadcast, it's going to be more dynamic than what you're seeing, but you're going to get the general vibe of it anyway. And we were just warming up, so I have to say, in some ways, my vocal performances, I think, are better on Journey songs than they were at this run through. It got really good when we started actually filming, but it's still cool, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So this gives you a kind of a sense of what happened yesterday and what this streamed acoustic show is going to be like. Here we go.
Speed, audio, speed.
Do you need to clap?
Do you want a clapperboard?
Yeah, that'd be good. Thanks, thank you.
Okay, one for this one for that one for Steve. All good?
Slipping away as we say our last goodbye, bid the world a fond farewell. We're sharing a final embrace when the lights begin to fade. It's a tale they had to tell. I'm wiping the tears from your face so I can't control myself. God have mercy on us all. The chapters ended a story that only just begun. First the rise and then the fall. But don't let it end this way. Before you can go, it's something that I must say. Don't let it end. Too late to cry, and winter has come to stay. I once had a book in my hand that I didn't understand. Now I witness every page. So won't you come closer, my love? Now our time is near to come. Bow and leave the stage. Don't let it end this way. No, before you can go, there's something winter has come to stay. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Now it's time to close your eyes, but don't let it end this way. Before you can go, it's something that I must say. Don't let it end this way. It's too late to cry. Winter has come to stay. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now. The minutes are slipping away. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
There we go. I hope you enjoyed that. It was great seeing it actually, in this context. Yeah, actually, my vocal was cool, wasn't it? Thank you. I noticed a few people mentioning that, so thank you. It's my artistic lack of confidence coming in now and again, which happens to the best of us. So thank you for that. Yeah, I notice, Alice, you said beautiful vocals. Thank you, Alice. Thanks very much. I think I saw someone mention. Here we go, Alison. Hi Clark, great to see Marcus. My boyfriend Doug knows him and thinks he's a great guitarist. Seen him several times and was surprised to see him on here. Marcus is a fantastic guitarist and a fantastic guy, and I first met him in probably 2008 when he performed with me at the very first Green Tech Awards, and then I brought him into the Johnny Hates Jazz live lineup when I rejoined Johnny Hates Jazz, and me and Mike love doing acoustic gigs with him. The three of us just create a vibe. There were a few of you who saw us in a very small village some years ago called Great Torrington in Devon in England. It was a lovely little theatre, and it was such a beautiful evening. It was just the three of us and, of course, the audience. And I think we all felt that had a lot of promise in it. So it's kind of leapfrog to doing this full-on acoustic show, which is going to be about an hour. And interestingly, I think the idea, I mean, this is all kind of in motion, but we did a really long set, and probably way longer than an hour. So I think the film crew are going to come here. This is the talk, and I'm going to chat to them, not in as much depth as Journey songs, but I'm going to chat to them about each song, in a much shorter space of time, and that'll become part of this live gig. So I'll keep you posted, okay, as to when that's going to be available, because it's pretty cool. It seems a bit odd not performing the song right at the end, so maybe as I've done in the past, I could just finish with the chorus. Does it sound good? Don't let it end this way. Before you can go, there's something that I must say. Don't let it end this way. It's too late to cry when winter has come to stay. There, a little bit of singing. I feel better now. Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. Slightly shorter than the more recent ones, which became quite epic in length. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's just have a couple more messages. Um, Let me go down here. Like I say, I'm trying to include people that I haven't included before, but to be honest, I may or may not do that. I don't know. Um, Vicky, Vicky Hanahan, great performance. Happy Mother's Day to your mom. Thank you very much, Vicky. Um, every day's Mother's Day, isn't it? Really, I think we all think that. Yes. Um, and yes, uh, Chiho, totally, absolutely beautiful. Thank you again. You're very welcome, Chiho. Um, who else have I not spoken to? Well, I've Ken. Lovely version. Once again, you show that you can write pop songs and cover a variety of topics outside of love. I can remember as a kid in the 80s having the sense of the world being destroyed at the press of a button hanging over our heads. We could do with more of this kind of writing rather than the current trend of inward looking songs of the self. Absolutely, Ken. I think you've commented like this before, I seem to remember. I very much agree with you. It's good to study oneself. I get I've done a lot of that myself, and sometimes you need to articulate that in music. But I think I think we're in a particularly self-obsessed time, and not in a particularly deep way either. We should be looking out at singing for all of us and for everyone as a human family. And I'd go further and say, for all, on behalf of all life on Earth. Okay, um, some fantastic messages here. I want you to know I try and read as many as I can as they flash past me. Uh, Amy Pryor, I hope I've said that right, Amy. Thank you so much. I was perhaps a bit young to get the full meaning of the song at the time, but appreciated its emotion. P.S. My husband loves your biscuit choice. Yes, man after my own heart. Yes, they are indeed fantastic biscuits, as a slight aside. Thank you for that. Um, Gustavo, great to see and hear you again. You have a lovely voice. Thank you, Gustavo. I appreciate that. Do you know, someone actually earlier asked me about if I do any vocal preparation. I'm sorry if I didn't see who that was because I think the live performance was on at the time. I do. I sing every day. A slight aside, okay, and then I am going to stop because this has got to be shorter than the other ones. A slight aside, I sing every day. I do a range of vocal exercises, and I reference a CD that I have, which is now in my car, in the computer, everywhere. These vocal exercises that are by two people called David and Cary Grant. Now, some of you in the UK will know Cary Grant. Cary is on TV a lot over here, but most of you hopefully will know David Grant. David was a big pop soul star in the 80s and was in a band called Lynx before then. David became a vocal instructor, and when I returned from the US, I knew I was going to be doing a lot more live work than recorded work at that time. So I went to David for some singing lessons. He's such a fantastic guy, and Cary's lovely as well. And I do their exercises religiously every day. It's just the same as keeping fit in any way you choose to do. You've just got to do it regularly. So that's a really important thing for me. Anyway, there you go. That's what I do. So everyone, I'm going to wrap it up now. Thank you very much for joining me. Here's a question as I just say something else about where Journey Songs is going. I wonder if you would do me the honor of answering this question live. Now, as you know, this is on a Sunday, and usually it's on a Saturday. Could you tell me now, with a comment, just one word, which day is better for you? And you just have to say Sunday, Saturday, that's all. And it's not that will necessarily... It's not completely democratic, and the majority of people will have their wishes met. But just let me know, okay? Because I am thinking of this going forward, and a lot of you are doing it now. This is really interesting. Oh, I shouldn't have asked this. It's a completely split 50-50. Ah, damn. Democracy, eh? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to look at these afterwards. Keep them coming. That's really good. It literally is 50-50. Can you believe it? Um, okay, I will make a decision. I hope it's not bad for you either day. That would be very difficult. Obviously, I'm aware if it's on a Sunday and some of you in Asia are staying up late, you may be working the next day, and that might be really difficult. But I also am aware that Saturday, as we're getting into spring and summer, a lot of you may be, in other parts of the world, may be out and about at this time of day on a Saturday. So I'm just thinking about it. Okay. Matt has said, this is the best answer, do both days. Matt has crossed my mind doing two. We'll see about that. Okay, keep them coming. I appreciate that a lot. So, folks, next week, this is the song that I'm doing. So, join me, because it's obviously a pivotal one, and there is a lot to say about Shattered Dreams, for obvious reasons, because it was our most famous song. So beyond Shattered Dreams, actually, I will have completed my focus on the Turn Back the Clock album, because if you remember, I said that I wasn't going to be covering Foolish Heart and Listen as much as I like them as songs, because I didn't write them, and I'm really approaching this as a songwriter and then a performer. So it's going to be the end of Turn Back the Clock, but it's really just the beginning of Journey songs. This is what I'm trying to stress. And beyond there, I'm going to be getting into my solo material, and a lot more to say about what's going to happen with that, because it's not just a past, okay? That should be a hint. But I will tell you more. And I'm also going to be looking at maybe my favorite Johnny Hates Jazz album, Magnetized. So I'm going to be kind of bouncing backwards and forwards between my solo work, Rain Dance, Fishing for Souls, and Magnetized, as we move through time. So after Shattered Dreams, I'm going to ask everyone who's watching this on YouTube to come across to my personal YouTube page, which has not been active for the time I've been focusing on JHJ, which I'll continue to do, of course. But I can't broadcast to two YouTube pages at the same time. It's just a limitation of how people are allowed to multi-stream at the moment because of bandwidth restrictions. So I'm going to ask everyone, because it feels right if I'm going to focus on solo stuff, to not have this be on the Johnny Hates Jazz social media pages. I'm going to ask you to come across to youtube.com/Clark Datchler Official and subscribe there. And when you do come to do that after next week, there'll be a special message waiting for you from me. And it'll still be on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Clark Datchler Official again. And when I do the songs from Magnetized, I will also broadcast to the Johnny Hates Jazz Facebook page as well. I hope that doesn't seem unnecessarily complex, but like I say, it's just the restriction of how many social media platforms you can stream to at once. I didn't make that up, unfortunately. So, okay, everyone, thank you so much. Join me. I'll tell you what I'll do, because I've got to look at all these. Oh, yes, I've just noticed something here. Lax said tomorrow too. Yes, Lax, we will get to tomorrow, which is another solo album of mine, which I'll be doing at the same time as other unreleased material, which I will explain more what's happening with that, and the Wide Awake album. The most recent Johnny Hates Jazz album. So there's a lot going on here, people. You're not going to... And I'll explain a little bit more about how I'm going to do this. You will be able to hear these tracks before I talk about them in the live stream. You'll be able to hear them on my YouTube page for a full week before I talk about them, so you'll get familiar. But you're going to have another way to get familiar with them, which again I will announce soon. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone. Let's say adios now. Have a really good week. Look out for my announcement as to if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday based on the democratic will of the people. And I think this is going to be hard. And I will see you next weekend for Shattered Dreams. All right. Take care, everyone. Like I say, look after yourselves and see you soon. Adios.